Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. Now, as you know, Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea is a 2000 direct-to-video musical adventure fantasy film that is pretty much meant to be a sequel to the first Little Mermaid film, as well as kind of doing the whole kind of typical child taking on the role of the parent story. And again, I know the film did get a lot of negative reviews, and looking back at the film now, I can definitely see why. So the premise of the film is meant to take place sometime after the first film, where we kind of see how Ariel and Eric celebrate the birth of their daughter Melody, and we kind of see how King Trident gives Melody a magic locket until the party is interrupted by Ursula's sister Morgana. I think Morgana's sister is just basically a copy and paste version of Ursula. I think the problem is Ursula worked as a villain because she was more of a con artist and knew how to wrap things around her little finger. The problem with Morgana, she's just a weaker, crappier, and powered down version of Ursula, and she comes off as a really poor imitation. And we do kind of see how after Morgana leaves, and after her Tiger Shark Undertow gets turned to a tinier size, we do kind of see how Ariel takes the logical route by building a wall around the kingdom and keeping Melody safe. But over the course of the film, we do see how Melody is now 12 years old, later learns about her mermaid heritage, and this is where we kind of see her journeying out and kind of wanting to find answers. I think the problem with Melody's character, not only is she a gender swap version of Prince Eric, but she just feels like a copy and paste version of Ariel. Again, you can actually make a sort of kid character work who is related to the character from the previous show, because one, when you actually had Boruto, you can tell he didn't want to become Hokage like his father, and you can tell where he had his father's kind of stubbornness, you can tell really wanted to try and do the right things. Or it's like Gohan. You can tell Gohan was a genius deep down, but you can tell was meant to follow his own path. But to me, the Android Saga was Gohan's big story. And I think it's kind of like looking at Zoe, because you can tell Zoe in Miraculous Ladybug wasn't going to be anything like her mum, and wasn't going to be anything like Chloe. So of course we do kind of see how Morgana tries to manipulate, trick, and make Melody think that she can give her the ability to become a permanent mermaid, and even uses Ursula's magic to kind of make her mermaid temporary. And yeah, you also do see Melody having her own sort of sidekicks, which are Tip and Dash, a penguin and a walrus, counterparts to Sebastian and Flounder. I think there is a good idea about doing a sequel, like showing what happened after the film, but I do see where many people do consider it a generic rehash. And I think the problem with rehashes, they do tend to copy too much of the original film. I think this is where I think even Star Wars Episode 7 gets a lot of hate now. And I think it's like looking at Digimon Adventure trying to go back to the Season 5 element, but also mixing it back with Season 1. I think there was a good idea about doing something with Return to the Sea, but it just feels like Melody is just Ariel, but with darker hair. Morgana feels like a crappier, powered-down version of Ursula, and it just feels like every character just has the role of the other characters. I think if there was a sequel done right, I would have seen Melody trying to learn more about her heritage, maybe having to come to the understanding if she does want to be mermaid or human, and maybe kind of understand what would be best for her. This would have been a proper idea about embracing one side of your heritage, or if you're willing to kind of move past the other one, which would have been a good idea. I think the thing is, a lot of characters are just replacements to the others, or some characters are just thrown into the sidelines. I think, to me, Return to the Sea crashed down with a massive wasted potential. And I think, to me, this film definitely deserves a thumbs down. Well, not the best. I think there was a lot they could have done with Melody's character instead of making her a crappier version of Ariel and make her sort of a relatable character. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.